Hey, St. Joseph's. Not only is there a crisis going on in our world right now with the coronavirus, but I think there's a crisis that has been going on in our hearts and in our world dealing with chastity. For anybody who looks at the world, we see that sex is rampant in our society, right? This loose view of the meaning of love has just taken over everybody. Everybody has caught that bug. And I don't mean to be making so many cheesy puns there, but it's interesting for me as a high school theology teacher that teaches moral theology. If there's anything that young people don't seem to be getting, it's our church's teachings on sexuality. That seems to be the biggest issue that people have with our church's teachings. And yet, it's supposed to be one of the things that makes us, the church teaches fulfilled. Like their view is they're trying to protect the beauty of sex, the beauty of love, right? The beauty of marriage. And yet the world doesn't see it that way. And that's where I think St. Joseph can come in as kind of like a figurehead and an example, and also a giver of graces, right? A conduit of graces, maybe I should say, of how to be chaste. Now, it's interesting, we could look at the world and just say, like, oh man, no one cares, everybody's bad. But I don't think that that's how we should look at it. I think we should be more charitable and say, being chaste is hard. Anybody that's honest with themselves and honest with the world, can say that, like, being pure is very difficult, right? At least for most of us, right? I mean, with the kind of like various things in the media, with, how, available pornography is, just kind of how our culture just kind of promotes the idea of living living with each other before marriage, kind of like casual sexual relationships. It just is just overwhelming, right? And the idea of being chaste is just seemed to be like unrealistic. But I think this is where Joseph can come in, because St. Joseph, he was married to one of the most beautiful women of all time, if not arguably the most beautiful woman of all time, the most attractive woman of all time. And yet they both remained virgins. They both remained chaste and committed to each other despite the difficulties that would entail. And I think that can become not only an example, but they can become heroes and places of grace for us as people who are striving to live out, the church's teachings, but find them difficult. Also, another thing that I think that this can become useful for is, a lot of people, especially young people in our world, struggle, but they were never helped. They never had a guide. They never had someone step in and explain, the difficulties of sexuality, but also the beauties and the meaning of it and the value of waiting. No, a lot of these people, as I talk to them, they never had anybody kind of help them avoid the temptations of pornography, and other, struggles in that area. And that's where St. Joseph can be a father. And I think that not only can we say, like, hey, if, maybe I struggle with purity, St. Joseph, help me. But I think what we could say is, St. Joseph, the world needs you. Be with the young people. Be with the people who feel lost and like they're losing this battle with chastity, or who don't even care. They've just been defeated in that battle. Be with them. Give them grace. Help them. Be with our world. Be with our country. And help it grow in love of God, but also in love of the other sex, in love with sexuality, to see that it's true purpose. Because God created sexuality. He gave it as a gift to us, right? So that we could grow closer to Him, grow closer to each other, and learn the true beauty of ourselves. So I think that, a message of day 17 of this consecration can be, St. Joseph, most chaste, pray for us, help us, but also help those who feel like they've gone too far away from the church's teachings to even have hope. Be a father to them, teach them the true meaning of love, and teach us the true meaning of love. Please let me know what you think. Send me a message or a comment, and God bless.